Hi YouTube, it's me, Sammi J. Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Sammi J. I took a break for a few minutes because of my work schedule, but I'm here, I'm back, and I'm ready to get started. So today what we're going to make is homemade shrimp Alfredo. So come on over, we'll show you what we're going to do. In the pan, I have about a cup of melted butter. You can use melted butter or you can use margarine. Whatever you decide to do, you want to make sure that it doesn't brown. It doesn't overcook itself, because then your Alfredo sauce will be overcooked as well and it'll be an ugly brown color. So to the butter, what I'm going to add is some all-purpose flour. And you'll notice as I'm adding the flour, I'm also stirring so that the flour and the butter will make what's called a roux. And a roux is just like basically your main base that you can use to make gravy and things like that. It's very easy to make. Okay. So we'll stir this. Again, try not to overcook it. Try not to let it burn, because if it burns, it's going to turn brown and your Alfredo is not going to look very good. It's not going to look very appetizing, put it that way. Okay, so we're going to let this cook for a little while. And the reason why I'm letting it cook is because with raw flour, if you don't let it cook for a minute, what will happen is you'll get that flour pasty type of taste, as opposed to getting the Alfredo. Okay, so now into this I'm gonna add some red bell peppers, orange bell peppers, and yellow bell peppers. This is maybe about a quarter of a cup. Please do not use green peppers. The reason why is because green peppers are very, very strong. Very strong. Green peppers will actually take over the taste of the Alfredo and make them, a little bit too strong. We're going to add about a quarter cup of parsley. Okay, mix that in. Okay, now what we're going to do is, right here I have 3 cups of milk. I'm going to pour this in nice and slow. At the same time I'm pouring, I'm going to be mixing. And if you notice, what's starting to happen is the milk and the roux is actually blending in together. So it's actually going to be very smooth, have a smooth texture. There should be no lumps. If there are lumps, it's because you're pouring the milk a little too fast. Okay? That's a nice, pretty color. Don't worry about the fact that it seems to be kind of thin. As it starts to cook, it will start to thicken up on you a little bit. Okay. Now, what I'm going to add, while this is cooking, I'm going to add some garlic. This is just sea salt and ground garlic. You can use garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic. It's strictly up to you is what you use. And this is also a quarter cup. Make sure my heat is on medium. What I'm going to add now is about a tablespoon of Old Bay season. Not too much, because we don't want the Alfredo to turn red from the paprika that's in the Old Bay seasoning. So what we're going to do is we'll let this cook for a few minutes, say maybe about 10 or 15 minutes, until it comes to a hard boil. Once it comes to a hard boil, then you're going to remove it from the heat, and then it'll be time to add in our shrimp. So stay tuned. Welcome back, YouTube. It's been about 15-20 minutes. We've allowed the sauce to thicken a little bit. As you see, it's nice and thick. Has absolutely no lumps in it. Your sauce should look just like this. If it's too thick, you can always go back and add just a little bit of water. I'm sorry, just a little bit of milk. Definitely don't put water in here. So what I'm going to add now is I have 2 bouillon cubes. I always mess up on that. 2 chicken stock cubes. Actually, 3 chicken stock cubes. You want to be careful with this because each cube is 48% sodium. So each cube basically has 48% of salt in it. It's not the best thing, but you know, you need it. So now what I'm going to add is I have some Parmesan cheese. I guess this might be maybe about 1/4 cup. We're going to add that in here. Okay, it's not going to be cheesy. However, it'll change the consistency of the sauce just a little bit. Okay, we still have the bouillon cubes in there. Some fresh ground pepper. Not too much. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to let this simmer for just a few minutes, just so that the chicken stock will break up together. Now, here's the trick. The trick is, after this comes to a very hard boil, for the sake of time, I'm just going to turn my stove up just a little bit so that you can understand and see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, see how the bubbles are starting to form on the sides? Just as it comes to this type of boil, you're gonna go turn the sauce down just a little bit. Okay, it should stop cooking just a little bit. Okay, check the consistency again. Now, this is the trick. Turn the sauce off. Okay, here I have some, I believe they're 2640 shrimp, which means that they're about 2630s, which means they're actually maybe about 26 to 30 medium shrimp. You can get this from Walmart. I suggest that you buy it frozen, drain the water off of it. Don't buy fresh shrimp, because the fresh shrimp holds a lot of water. It's going to make your sauce very, very watery, in addition to probably making it extra fishy. So now what we do is we're going to add the shrimp. Now remember, the sauce I've already turned off. Okay, the shrimp is cooked, but I don't, and also I don't want the shrimp to shrivel up into little tiny pieces. So that's why I've turned the sauce off, and we'll let it sit for a few minutes. The shrimp will continue to cook, but it's going to be tender. It's not going to be overcooked. Okay, for the sake of time, we can go ahead and I'll plate this up. On this plate I have linguine noodles. Don't use spaghetti noodles. Don't use fettuccine noodles. You want linguine noodles. This is the very flat noodle. Anything else, the sauce is going to run right through it. If it's fettuccine noodles, the sauce is going to sit on top, and it's going to make more so of a mush. So here I have the linguine noodles mixed with a little bit of butter, a little bit of parsley. Plate this up. I'm sorry, I'm making a mess. I always try to not make a mess, but I usually do. Okay, so what we're going to do is then, since I have it plated, I always go back, clean off the sides, clean the plate up a little bit, because it just makes it look a lot better. Okay, now what I'm going to add now is some parsley mixed with shredded mozzarella cheese, and that just goes right on the top. Okay, and there you have it, homemade shrimp Alfredo. With the shrimp Alfredo, you can actually choose a salad, or in our case, we're going to do some garlic toast, which you would just put in the oven brown maybe for about 3 to 5 minutes or something, pull it out, and it's done. So that is the cooking show. I'm glad that I'm back. I would like to give a big shout out to Kurt Cobain, First Lady Gotti, Mr. NC Stand Up, the newest member of Team Hall Fam, Alex Kicks, my pops, Mr. Brathwaite, and my sister from another mother, Monica Brown. So, stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.